Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a brand new Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. We are now on to Seecret Friday number 6, or V1.0.11 as it is officially titled. This was released on July 23rd, 2010. If you remember, the very first Seecret Friday came out on June 18th. So far, we have covered 35 days since the beginning of Notch's series of Seecret updates. This one had many significant additions added to Minecraft. In this Seecret, we have clay blocks, clay balls, reeds, paper, books, bookshelves, bricks, and slime balls. These are all still around to this day, except reeds are now called sugarcane. I am going to start with clay, but before we delve into the secrets, I would just like to remind you that there will be no real segment today in the show. Instead, this is rather a blend of real and realm put together, a melange of sorts. This is what Notch was experimenting with in the early days of Minecraft, and so I count this as both the real and realm. With that said, I am ready to start the show when you are. Let's go back in time 15 years ago and see what Notch was conjuring up right after poll time. It's poll time! Yes, my friends, it is poll time. That means we get to hear directly from the people themselves on Minecraft Matters. This is where I hand the grand Realm News stage over and see the true opinions. Today, I asked a simple poll. Which of these two stones do you enjoy the most? Granite or diorite? I provided these four options. Granite, diorite, both, or neither. Easy, right? Now, I will go ahead and tell you that I voted for both. I love them equally. However, I will admit that I have more buildings made out of granite than I do diorite. Granite is just simply more abundant in my overworld. Before I dive into the results, I should mention that this earned a total of 36 total votes. Not the biggest turnout, but not the smallest either. I put this poll on Realm News' Reddit page, on Minecraft_survival subreddit, and on Realm News' Twitter, now X feed. So it had a trio of different spots where people could find it. Let's start with the loser of the poll. I was rather shocked to see this one lose. Actually, this was quite shocking to me. Granite came in dead last place with a total of 5 votes, or 13% of the votes. I would have placed my money on granite winning this poll. I always thought that diorite was considered ugly by the majority, so naturally I thought the results would have been much different. The next one up is the neither group. They beat granite by 2 votes with a total of 7. I was hoping this would have been last place. I would have rather seen granite been used more than put off like that. Oh well. Moving on, diorite comes in second place with a grand total of 9 votes. It appears that people like to use this more than granite. It must complement their building styles more. The winner of this week's poll is the both group, which has a really good outcome. It has 15 votes out of the 36. I am happy to see that people use both of these mineral types. I voted for this category. I think the red and white blocks complement each other very well. My brother, the Sun King, has 2 structures in his capital city called Farthia. One is completely made of granite, and the other is positioned opposite of the granite one, and it's made completely of diorite. They oppose each other. It fits into his lore. I believe they're libraries, maybe. They're kind of a yin and yang styles of building. They're opposing. They're a dichotomy. I do not have any comments for this week's poll, unfortunately, folks. I just want to thank those who participated in voting this week. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes no one has anything to say on these, which is understandable. You can find these polls posted every weekend at Realm News' subreddit, which is found at bio.link/realmnews, all lowercase. With that said, I would like to move on to the bulk of today's show. We are starting off with Seecret Friday number 6 and all the additions that accompany that. We shall begin with clay. If you recall my Badlands episode last year, then you would know that I enjoy terracotta. So I owe a huge thank you for clay being introduced into Minecraft. And you know what? It just comes to my mind. I also love clay pots, you have to make them out brick, but you have to have clay to make bricks. So it all comes back to clay. So I'm a big fan of clay in this game. I just had no idea how old of a material this was in the overworld. This makes it one of the most ancient materials we have in the game. Notch gave clay these attributes in version v1.0.11. Clay generates near water. It drops 4 balls when destroyed, and clay can be crafted. It was interesting to dive down the clay rabbit hole a little further by looking at its history log. In the Minecraft Wiki's history, I noticed quote-unquote added clay blobs. So I clicked on that to see what they meant. The article went on to say this about clay blob generation. Quote, clay blobs would generate extremely similarly to conventional ore blobs, potentially even to the extent of being impacted by the same precision loss bugs, replacing sand blocks in beaches. Whether they would generate in deserts as well is unknown. End quote. This is how clay was initially generated in the game when he wrote the script. The clay blob distribution world generation technique lasted for a little bit of time, approximately longer than a year. Clay generated in this fashion for exactly 13 months and 20 days before it was replaced by the clay disk in the Java Edition Beta 1.8 pre-classic on September 14th, 2011. This is how sand, gravel, and dirt blocks are formed along with clay, all of them in disc shapes. We still have discs to this day. I am sure that you have seen them in the bottom of lakes, ponds, and or oceans. I provide pictures of these discs and blobs on Patreon. Go sign up today. Once you mine these clay blocks, they will each drop 4 clay balls just like they do today. Notch made it so you place them into the furnace and smelt them into bricks in order to make brick blocks. If you are a Patreon member, you may remember that in a fun fact number 4 actually, that I mentioned the large brick pyramids that you could find in reference to the obsidian walls, the shape of crosshairs from the Java Edition Inf Dev 2010-0227-1414. Well, maybe that is what led to the creation of clay, so we could make those bricks. Just a thought. In this version, it took 4 bricks to make 1 brick block. This has not changed since its genesis. It still requires 4 bricks to make a brick block. I would like to now take us to the next big addition in this update. I am talking about reeds. Reeds, papyrus, bamboo, however you like to call your v1.0.11 paper producing flora is perfectly fine, because there was no in-game name for it at this point in time, according to minecraft.wiki. We know this as sugarcane in 2025 Minecraft, or at least that is what it has been called since January 13th, 2011 in Java Edition Beta 1.2. I just thought that was a fun fact. Back to V1.0.11 now. Notch had made it so the reeds would generate next to beaches, grow 3 blocks tall, and be used to craft paper. I never realized that paper has been a part of Minecraft for so long. For some reason, I had thought that was something developed later on. While we're on the subject of paper, I would like to shift gears towards that. Sorry, I don't have anything more about reeds there. Now, paper... This is how you'd make paper in this version of the game. You would craft 3 reeds in a row on a crafting table, and that would produce 1 sheet of paper. And you could use that to craft books. First off, I would like to state that making paper was an expensive endeavor during this time period, because today you get 3 sheets of paper when using 3 sugar cane. Much better price compared to 3 sugar cane for a single sheet of paper. Now let's move on to using paper to craft books. Books, I love them. My girlfriend even has a book club in real life, so I am surrounded by books. If it weren't for books in the game of Minecraft, I don't know if my podcast, Realm News, would be called Realm News. It is due to our capability to write in books in this game that led to the title of my podcast. I made it to fit the headcanon of my world en Dieu. It was more like a journal of overworld activities that I would make copies of and place in my libraries for the citizens to read and to keep informed. But I have to say, and I'm sad to say this, I just lost one of my volumes. I've written 30 out of 50 of its pages, and I went to go write something because I just made a new city, and I can't find it. I misplaced it somewhere. I don't know where. I hope I didn't permanently lose it. I've checked like 5 of my cities, but you have to remember, I have like 40, now I just built another city. So like I have 40 or 41 cities in my realm, and I have probably a couple hundred chests, double wide chests just everywhere. So yeah, I got some searching around to do. Hopefully I find it. I was shocked to see that books back in V1.0.11 were cheaper than they are today. It was especially shocking to see after reading how expensive paper used to be. Today, in order to craft a book, it takes 1 piece of leather and 3 pieces of paper as opposed to the 3 pieces of paper to craft a book in the original recipe. Check out the images on Realm News' Patreon. If you enjoy books and have made a few of them, then you can go a step further and craft a bookshelf in this version. To craft a bookshelf back then, you would need 6 blocks of oak planks and 3 books, which that would require 9 sheets of paper. This recipe has not changed at all. We just have many different types of wood to use to craft these now. I should go ahead and mention that if you were to break this bookshelf, it would drop nothing. These bookshelves were strictly for decorative purposes only. You could not place enchanted books or written books in them yet. I can only imagine how great this would have been to have in the overworld as an option, though. I mean, this was better than nothing. This would have been a great piece of decor, in my opinion. They make homes and other buildings much more immersive. I would like to now examine a mob that was added into this secret, and this was interesting to me. It was the slime. Notch added the slime to this version of the game. This is actually the 5th hostile mob to be added into it. Here are some facts taken from minecraft.wiki. Slime came in 3 sizes: small, medium, and big. Their death behavior is unusual. Slimes that are not too small split into smaller slimes when they die if they take the same amount of damage as their remaining health. And they split only when struck by the fist, not with swords in this version, which is very funny. I found it interesting to see how the design of the slime evolved so much in 5 days as well. The original slime had no translucency to it whatsoever compared to its evolved counterpart. Its 2 square eyes were completely on the front of its slimy face, and the mouth was much smaller below the eyes and center. The more evolved design made the slime appear as if it is in a protective shield of slime. I say this because you can see its face under the green translucent layer. I have photos you can see at the Patreon. The mouth looks the same as in the original design. The eyes are what is different though. They wrap around the head at a 90-degree angle. Half the eye is positioned in the front and it wraps the other half around the side of the head. Sorry, not the health, of the head. I just wanted to explain that to you a little bit. I like noting those little details. Again, go check out the Patreon for those images and comparisons that I made together. At this point in the slime's design in V1.0.11, it would drop slime balls when killed. However, these slime balls were not yet usable. Today, you have the probability to collect 0 to 2 slime balls when killing them. And here's the fact of the day, as a quote from minecraft.wiki. Quote, baby pandas have a 1 in 700 chance of dropping 1 slime ball when sneezing, end quote. I didn't even know they could sneeze, but isn't that the cutest thing that you've heard? And Minecraft does a lot of cute little things like this. That was just fascinating. I would like to now tell you a few bug fixes that occurred in this update. Here are a few bug fixes that he put in. Cacti now deal damage to mobs upon contact and can only be placed on sand. In the third-person view, players' held items will now display differently. All shovels except wooden ones now instantly destroy snow layers as well. I hope you all enjoyed that Seecret Friday number 6. We are now trucking along to the next secret, Seecret Friday number 7. Seecret Friday number 7, or Java Edition Alpha V1.0.14, was published to the world on July 30th, 2010. As you are all very aware by now, I am going through each of the 10 secrets that Notch produced in the very early days of Minecraft. This one was a large one. It introduced many big things to the game. Allow me to list them off for you. Jukebox and music, chicken and eggs, minecarts with furnaces and chests, and some more bug fixes. As I said, big additions were made to the game during this version. I'd like to start with the music and other media that was added. The jukebox was added to the overworld, and we were finally blessed with the sweet sound of music. Music by famous musician C418. In fact, according to minecraft.wiki, when you crafted a jukebox in this version, it contained 15 slots for discs. Slot 1 and 2 were occupied with discs that accompanied the jukebox. I wish they would still do this. These 2 discs were both songs made by C418, titled 13 and Cat. I thought that was super cool to learn. I should tell you, though, that there was a glitch to the jukebox in this. There were, in fact, 2 versions of Alpha V1.0.14. The first version had to be scrapped because if you were to craft a jukebox in that version, it would render a bookshelf. It would be difficult to produce music from a bookshelf. So, a second V1.0.14 was born, and thus the jukebox and the 2 original music discs. The second version is the only version that can still be found in the launcher. If you wanted to craft a jukebox back in this version, you would have to use 1 diamond and 8 wood planks. This would yield you a jukebox. The recipe has remained the same to this day. I'm starting to see that Mojang has not deviated too much when it comes to crafting some of the original items to come to Minecraft. Notch also added background music into the game again. He took music out in Infinity-2100227 for whatever reasons. Then he added 3 new musical pieces that are titled as such: Piano1.ogg, Piano2.ogg, and Piano3.ogg. Next, if you recall, I mentioned in last week's episode that Notch had made 52 new splashes that flash across the homepage of the game. Well, he came up with 3 more. Here they are. Quote, haha, LOL, end quote. Next one, hamster dance, exclamation mark. Next one, switches and oars. Only in the re-upload or the second version was that one found, and end quote. I'd like to now move on to the chicken and the egg. Chickens, they are everywhere in the overworld, as you know, or at least it seems to be that way. If you recall, I made an entire episode over the Minecraft chicken that I urge you all to go check out. It was a really fun episode, and I even talk about the Roman god of chickens. Electrion, I believe, is what that god was called. Yes, Electrion. Not Electrion, but Electrion. Is titled The Overworld Chicken Cluck Cluck. The original chicken came into the overworld on July 30th, 2010. Notch did such a good job with the chicken's appearance that Mojang didn't tweak its design until April 23rd, 2019. That is 8 years, 8 months, and 24 days that the original chicken design lasted. And they didn't change it much either. They just added a few white pixels here and there, a slight change to the beak and its feet, and that was it. Hardly any changes, really. The chicken being introduced to Minecraft made it the official 4th passive mob. Notch made it so that they had wing flapping animation for when they fell. However, he didn't make it so that the landing was gentle. I say this because once the chickens finally touched the ground gently, they would sustain fall damage. It was not until Seecret Friday number 8 that he made them immune to fall damage, which was on August 20th, 2010. Now, let's move on to the chicken's byproduct, the egg. I really do not have much to report on about the egg in this version of Minecraft, only that it came into its existence along with the chicken. However, it was essentially useless at this point. According to minecraft.wiki, the egg had no purpose whatsoever. You couldn't even throw it. No, it wasn't until beta 1.0 Java was released that we were able to throw eggs at mobs. This was all due to an online Twitter conversation that took place between Notch and at WYLD. Here's a quote from the wiki. Quote, eggs are now throwable at the request of a fan as a result of a Twitter conversation about a man eating his USB. If Notch added egg throwing, end quote. I will leave it there with eggs for now. We shall move on to minecarts now. If you are a Patreon member, then you can guess from the photo provided that minecarts with furnaces and chests had arrived in Minecraft for the first time in Seecret Friday number 7 on July 30th, 2010. As you all know, I have created a railroad empire, my world of Ombre Dieu. However, I do not use either of these items. I do not use the furnace because I play on Bedrock, and they are not on Bedrock. I do not use minecarts with chests because they are impractical for long distances. Allow me to explain minecarts with furnaces first. Minecraft.wiki's article titled Minecart with Furnace says, quote, a minecart with furnace is a furnace inside a minecart. It can be powered with exclusively coal or charcoal to propel it across a rail line for a limited time, which can be used to move other minecarts, end quote. Very handy, it sounds like. Now, a couple of interesting facts about the minecart furnace from this time period is no matter how much fuel you put in the furnace, it would only go for 3 minutes max. Also, just like the minecart with the chest, it had no in-game name tag. So it technically had no name. It was referred to by players as quote-unquote powered minecart or furnace minecart. Next, the minecart with chest. Minecraft.wiki's article is much shorter for this. Quote, a minecart with chest is a single chest inside a minecart and functions as such, end quote. As I have mentioned, the minecart with chest did not have a technical name in the game, so it was called a chest minecart or storage minecart. Sounds fitting, aptly titled if you ask me. This is about as far as they are described at this point in time. However, I should remind you all to go listen to my discussion with Realm News' exclusive guest, Jukebox, and listen to how he used redstone in the early days of Minecraft and minecarts. It was simply fascinating to hear about his experiences. I'd like to now wrap up this Seecret Friday 7 with the final changes made to the game. The first change that I will mention is that the overworld cow got an overhaul. It went from black to brown, and horns were added to its head. I went ahead and put together an image with the evolution of the cow during the past 15 years. You can find it on Realm News' Patreon. The Seecret Friday number 7 cow design lasted a really long time before its final makeover and variant additions were announced by Minecraft on January 29th this year, 2025. Besides the cow redesign, a few more slight changes were made in this version, such as cacti can now grow up to 3 blocks tall, enabling farming. Obsidian is now indestructible to TNT. Slime spawning has now been reduced and is disabled due to a miscalculation in the nuke limit. With those additional changes made to Seecret Friday number 7, that brings me to a conclusion on this secret. I would like to now move on to Seecret Friday number 8. Seecret Friday number 8, or Java Alpha v1.0.17. This was released on August 20th, 2010. That is 21 days since the last secret was made by Notch. This update was not the biggest that I have covered so far. It really only had a few major additions like the fence and the chicken jockey. First, I should tell you what I found on minecraft.wiki's site covering this. It is more like a caveat that this secret is technically missing. Quote, while this release is known to exist, it has not been archived in the launcher or elsewhere and is therefore considered lost. If you believe you have a copy of this version, please post it on the talk page of this page, end quote. And that was on the back of a milk carton. I'm joking. Now, that was odd to see and read, folks. I have not encountered that on minecraft.wiki yet in over a year of intense research doing this show. I just have not seen a message like that. It was almost like you know, like something was posted for a missing person alert. It's kind of funny how serious it was. Now, it is not found in the Minecraft launcher, which is what makes this technically non-existent. However, a follower, a longtime supporter who goes by the name Moon, sent me a YouTube video that explains these missing versions in a nice, short 6-minute video. I'll post that in the show description for y'all to check out. Now that we have said that and it's out of the way, I would like to start with fences. This was the first time ever that we had the capability to put up fences. We could finally pin in our livestock and create true ranches. They are also used to create buildings and other neat designs. The fence was not only added on this Friday, but it also underwent a series of changes that very same day. Initially, when Notch added fences to the game, he made it so the player was automatically equipped with a full stack of 64 fence posts. However, later on that day, he changed his mind and removed them. Notch giveth and he taketh. This is seen in v1.0.17_01, according to minecraft.wiki, titled Fence. This next part still needs to be verified in the talk page, but it goes on to say that he then made the fence a craftable item by using 6 sticks. Next, we have the infamous chicken jockey. This here makes you scratch your head. These are simply a nasty duo, the gruesome twosome, if you will. I find them to be both hilarious and creepy as hell to look at. Although the spider jockey was added officially to the overworld on August 20th, 2010, Notch had posted on a forum called forum.tigsource.com 4 days prior to its release. Here's a quote I took from here. Quote, "My issue with the skeletons is when spelunking. I can hear them somewhere nearby, and I get really tense. Then a skeleton pops out. There's an instant twang, and I shriek and fall down a cliff into a large pitch black cave. It was memorable the first couple of times, but it's starting to get annoying, honestly. Giving them a short aiming bow plus attacking animation would make it easier to dodge, especially if I make them lead their shots, and would feel more fair. Then, to make the game harder again, I add skeletons riding spiders while on fire." End quote. Well, I am extremely grateful that the skeletons that are jockeying the spiders are not on fire. Could you just imagine the horror that would instill on a player? However, you must admit that it would be quite the sight to see. The skeleton itself, for additional background, was introduced to us in 0.24 underscore all capital survival underscore all capital test on September 1st, 2009. At this point in time, skeletons would randomly spawn in survival maps and would follow the player just like the overworld zombie. They did not have spiders to ride yet, nor bows to fire arrows at players at this time. Next, I'd like to talk about a few changes made in this Seecret. First off, multiplayer got a couple positive changes. They received a functional day and night cycle for the first time. Also, chickens, slimes, and pigs are added to multiplayer. Big bonuses for multiplayer, in my opinion. The day and night cycle is extremely important to have. It depicts when the zombies and other hostile mobs come out today, and much, much more. So I thought that was just super interesting to learn. Some more changes that occurred in this version are that milk buckets can now be emptied, and the third-person view is centered again. Additionally, right-clicking on usable blocks causes the player's arm to swing in sync with the third-person animation for right-clicking. Furthermore, chickens no longer experience fall damage and instead slowly glide down using their wings, as they should, Notch. I'm happy you fixed that, and I'm sure the little digital chickens are too. Now, I would like to move on to the next Seecret. Seecret Friday number 9. This is the final Seecret Friday out of the 10 total secrets that Notch produced. We are now winding down with the last 2. Seecret Friday number 9 was a particularly small update to Minecraft. It will not take me long to cover this, folks. Its official title is Java Edition Alpha v1.1.0. and it was released on September 10th, 2010. He only added one major item, which was the compass. The compass was added to the overworld and always points you towards your spawn point. The crafting recipe for this has not changed since its inception, which is 4 iron ingots and 1 redstone dust to craft 1 compass. A fun fact found at minecraft.wiki is this, quote, "They have 102 visually distinct frames due to how the texture is generated," end quote. I thought that was just neat to know. It takes 102 distinct frames to give it that rotating look as you hold it. With that said, I would like to now move on to additional changes made by Notch in v1.1.0. Now, here's these additional changes. He introduced a monster spawner on and off button for multiplayer, and you can now save inventory on multiplayer servers, and it saves players' locations. I think this is just a huge improvement. Also, lava buckets can now smelt up to 100 items, and clay is more common. So that hasn't changed for lava buckets today. I can tell you that right off the top of my head. Here are some bug fixes made. Torches can no longer be placed on leaves. Fancy graphics are required to place torches on leaves. And chests, signs, and furnaces now work in multiplayer. That's all I have for our final Seecret Friday, folks. The next one was made on a Saturday and is thus dubbed Seecret Saturday and is the only one out of the 10 to be called this way, honestly. Let's review numero 10. My friends, we have finally arrived to the 10th and final secret that Notch gave in the year 2010. Seecret Saturday number 10, or its technical name, V1.1.1, was released on September 18th, 2010, and brought to us a few major features, such as fishing, crouching, and paintings. It also led to an extraordinary bug that would make the game crash by causing the screen to go completely gray. Let's examine this version of Minecraft. V1.1.1's lifespan only lasted for 205 minutes according to minecraft.wiki. That's an equivalent of 3 hours and 41 minutes to my math. Another article that I found, which was extremely interesting, titled Minecraft Alpha 1.1.1, an extremely rare version, was finally found after 10 plus years of searching. That's the title name. Very long title. Written by Zach Dwightson, says that this version's lifespan lasted 3 hours and 25 minutes before being removed. So we have two different times in two different articles. But if you're to average it out, I think it's safe to say that lasted around 3 hours and 30 minutes, about that mark. In other words, it didn't last long. In fact, this became a sort of a treasure hunt for some online archivists who scoured the internet and other sources for this lost version. They needed this in order to prove that it actually existed. Back to Zweidson's article. The community searched for a little over 10 years before evidence surfaced on an old hard drive after someone was scouring Twitter and stumbled upon a post that stated that they had just downloaded a new version of the game. The investigator noticed that the tweet's timestamp had fell within V1.11's lifespan. V1.1.1's lifespan. The investigator archivist reached out to the tweet's author, whose Twitter handle is @LunaSorcery. Good luck seeing their profile. It's locked from strangers' view. I'm sure they got a lot of inquiry on this. However, the article describes that they did eventually find an old hard drive. Within it contained the downloaded V1.1.1 update of Minecraft under the file name minecraft.jar. Luna Sorcery immediately published it to the OmniArchive Discord server as proof of its existence. And this OmniArchive Discord server is on a mission to obtain all and archive all evidence of Minecraft. A crazy fun fact from this article is that according to the timestamp in which the V1.1.1 was downloaded, it was likely just downloaded 90 seconds before Notch erased the version from history. This short lifespan is the reason this version remained elusive to archivists who were searching for evidence of its existence. Not too many people downloaded it. It was just very scarce. Obviously, it only surfaced from this one person, Luna Sorcery. So thank you, Luna Sorcery, for not erasing that old version of the game. Thank you. We owe you a big thank you for helping preserve a piece of Minecraft history. I just thought that was a very fascinating story, and I wanted to share that with you all. Now let's move on to what was included in this update with fishing. I did a whole entire episode called Fishing the Overworld, and I did a pretty big portion in the real history of fishing as well. It was a spectacularly fun episode to create that I recommend you checking out. As you can guess, the fishing rod is finally available for crafting in V1.1.1. It only takes 3 sticks and 2 strings to make a fishing rod in this. However, the funny thing is, it's completely useless in this version of the game because the act of fishing or the ability of catching fish doesn't exist yet. But hey, at least the poles are stackable, if that helps. It wouldn't be until the Halloween update on October 30th, 2010, the same update that ushered in the Nether Dimension, that we also get the ability to catch fish. Notch made it so that we were able to catch fish in any body of water that was called that was in Java Alpha v1.2.0. Sorry. So it was the next iteration. A few iterations after, but v1.2.0, the Halloween update, is where we were able to finally pull up some fish out of water, any bodies of water. I would like to now move on to crouching. Now, above, if you're part of the Patreon Realm News, then you will see this picture, and I'll describe it. It shows Notch's avatar crouching or in sneak mode. And that's all on Patreon for you to see. If you recall, this is what caused the Seecret Saturday to become erased in a matter of hours. The crouching did, due to a bug that turned the whole thing gray. Here's a quote from minecraft.wiki. Quote, "This version included debug code relating to the gamma slider, which would set the display's gamma and contrast values to 0. Sometimes resulting in the screen going completely gray. This code was removed in Alpha v1.1.2, which was released a few hours, specifically 205 minutes after v1.1.1, end quote." And I provide a picture of the gray screen. It's just literally a blank gray screen. Just quite literal. No gamer wants to see this. I can see why Notch rushed to get it fixed and resolved, but we did finally get sneaking 3.5 hours later in v1.1.2, which is awesome. Did you know that sneaking was first suggested by a person named Muku, who posted on forums.tigsource.com this, quote, "Also, while making suggestions, a slow walk key, e.g. shift, would be cool to make the whole bridge building thing a bit easier. I just keep falling off a lot," end quote. I just love reading little things like this. It is amazing that someone's thought from 16 years ago on a forum still echoes on today in millions of players' worlds. We can all sneak thanks to Muku, because you have to go and crouch to walk slow. So thank you, Muku, for that. Now, let's move on to paintings here. Christopher Zetterstrand's overworld paintings. As you all know, I have a soft spot for Christopher Zetterstrand, and I'm an absolute fan of his artwork. He does an amazing job, and this is shown in his many awards and the fact that he is the most exposed living artist today, thanks to Minecraft. Millions of people every day who play Minecraft see his artwork. I recommend listening to Realm News' episode, an exclusive interview with artist Christopher Zetterstrand. It's an amazing episode where I speak directly with the artist himself. The 5 paintings that were put into this Seecret Saturday are titled as such: Graham, Crebe, Donkey Kong, Skeleton, and Pig Scene. I ask you this: which one is your favorite? Mine is Skeleton. Why? Well, it's simply because it's weird. Truly, why is a skeleton chilling in a conch? That's my question. I love it because it makes me laugh and it makes me think at the same time. I've always enjoyed surrealism, and this fits right up my alley. Also, Zetterstrand's artwork pairs very well with my show, Realm News. We both have a way of incorporating the realm with the real, if you know what I mean. I can only imagine how happy people were to have artwork in the overworld. It must have been an amazing feeling. Not only did Notch add in these 5 new paintings, but he also added in a couple paintings that Zetterstrand made some changes to. Zetterstrand added a larger or a bigger spider to the painting called Stage, and he added red berries or blossoms to the plant and some vibrant green to it as well in the painting titled Sea. I will provide some photos on Patreon. I'm glad for these slight but much improved changes. The plant in the sea painting used to look a little lackluster and not as vibrant. I would like to now wrap up this Seecret Saturday and final Seecret with some additions and changes that Notch made in the 3.5 hour life of V1.1.1. Here are the additions and changes that Notch added. He added the ability to change mouse sensitivity and sliders to change volume of sound and music. There were 2 bug fixes as well, such as the infinite snowball exploit was fixed. Previously, snow blocks requiring 4 snowballs to make would be crafted broken and they would produce 4 to 6 snowballs. And solid snow blocks now only drop 4 snowballs. I'm sure that these were all very appreciated. With that said, folks, that wraps up the last Seecret that Notch made. And thus, this week's episode and part 2 to the 10 Seecrets. I had a ton of fun researching and putting all this together. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I found that these Seecrets to be utterly fascinating, and they shed a new light on familiar objects and ways we interact with Minecraft. This is a piece of history that I truly enjoyed capturing in audio form for you all. Until next Tuesday and Thursday at Realm News Flash and Realm News, I wish you all happy crafting. The Dark Lord. Signing out. Hello, Realm News fans. I just wanted to pop back in here and just tell you all how much I appreciate you for listening to the show. It means the world to me that you tune in every week to listen to me, the Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am honored to be your host and to be able to deliver you weekly original Minecraft content with Realm News Flash and Realm News on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoy the show, I would love it if you would tell your friends about it and tell them to follow it. Hit that like button and leave a comment. I know that on Spotify, you can leave comments on individual episodes. Same on Good Pods. I'm not sure about all the other podcast player platforms out there, but I appreciate feedback. So please comment if you're able to. If you can't comment wherever you listen to Realm News, then you can by following Realm News at either its Twitter, now X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or email, which is all found at bio.link/realmnews, all lowercase. Again, that is bio.link/realmnews. There, you can become a Realm News Patreon member. I urge you all to sign up to the Copper or Diamond tier and get early access to episodes, bonus episodes, newsletters, and ebooks. Find my prices at my Patreon link, all found at bio.link/realmnews. I understand times are tough, and I do not expect anyone to give me money. I am just saying that if you are able to, it's very much appreciated. However, you can show your appreciation by just listening, liking, following, or recommending the show, as I said earlier. That means more than you would ever know. With that said, I wish you all happy crafting, and I look forward to talking to you all at the next Realm News. The Dark Lord. Signing out.